From a residence which is 150 miles north of New Delhi, and today is April 28th, time about 8:25 hours UTC. So again, today I'm going to update briefly on some of the topics which are current affairs in the world, how things are shaping up and what's store for a time to come. So I have updated on 26th how things have gone viral and how things have gone out of control in India regarding COVID-19. It was a crisis, but on today, 28th of April, I'm seeing it's become a disaster. You know how people have handled here in COVID-19 situation, crisis, pandemic. It's totally unbelievable. Now today for April 28th, India reports over 200k fatalities. Yes, it has crossed 200k, and also total for today infections were more than 362k. Yes, the number is 362k infections for April 28th. Now this doesn't sound to be a good news, but this is what happens once people start flouting openly the WHO guidelines. So guys, this is not a new thing which happens, but virus is supposed to be taken seriously. When there was a pandemic wave first going in India, they had lockdown and people were a little bit worried and they were not sure what to do, but they still followed the pandemic guidelines which were issued by WHO. But what I saw, because I am residing here in Chandigarh, this is 150 miles north of New Delhi, so I've seen around my location, about neighborhood, and also when I was traversing through the city, that people did flout openly in March social distancing, specifically the social distancing norms, and they also did flout openly masking policy. People are playing in parks and grounds, and if you ask someone, why you think there should be social gathering when there is pandemic ongoing, they used to laugh and scuffle, and they used to say, what a pandemic, it's a joke. So, because rallies happened afterwards in April by India Government Election Commission, obviously it was a joke happening in front of the whole world. It's how democracy works in the world, specifically India. I was very surprised looking at the election results when in November 2020 elections were occurring for US. They had whole sort of restrictions, everything going on, but you see what happens for India. It's bizarre. They were having these massive rallies. Then there was two of the festivities where again rules were flouted. So they were like holy festivities celebrated by most of the majority population Hindu here, and brothers from Hindu, they also celebrated later on Kumbh Mela, which is a gathering after every 11 or 12 years, but this time they preponed it from 2022 to 2021 for some strange reason. God knows it why they preponed it, when they were knowing they were ongoing second wave of pandemic. So guys, these are some of the factors which has put India in a disastrous mode. So now it's not in a crisis mode. India COVID-19 is a disaster. It's a complete disaster, I tell you folks. I've been telling in my last video which I uploaded on April 26th that India stooges somehow over here are very good at manipulating the news, massaging the data, doctoring the data, fudging the numbers. They're also very good at concealing the truth. If someone is trying to tell the truth, they are the first one who try to block the communications or circle around that person. If one person or somebody is trying to tell the truth, they would not like to hear it. Because that's how India is operating right now. The double games being played is now being gradually being revealed to the world, that India doesn't seems to be what it glitters. All that glitters is not gold. So that's what this saying for India is going all around the world now. World has seen the worst of pandemic in India because people were worried about India because there are 1.4 billion population concentrated at 1/3 size of China. Yes, if you see China, people immediately compare with China, which is having 1.4 billion population. But we got to take a notice that China is 3 times size of India. So imagine if you are residing in US or you're residing in Australia, China is there of that size and it's having 1.4 billion population. But think of it that if you cut it into 3 pieces and you cramp up 1.4 billion population, what do you call of that nation, which is India? Obviously, it's a population bomb. I call it a population bomb. So nothing more than that, because government was too lousy, lethargic, and obviously ignorant. And to some extent, people say they have done it deliberately, that India government didn't pay attention when the population was exploding. They wanted to have this demographic change, because some say that India government and some of the stooges which are working at the other agendas, they wanted to have dominance using the population. They say strength in numbers. But now you see what's going on with India. When the pandemic arises, the strength in number has given the total collapse of India healthcare system. India doesn't have a healthcare system to even support a small glitch or a small bump. But this is not a bump, it's a tsunami. It's called a massive wave, which is unprecedented in history of mankind. And this is what India has given to the world, that yes, our system has failed altogether. So imagine the oxygen supply, what not is going on. Supply is something which is not a big deal, producing O2, but how things have been managed by the critical healthcare system, it is quite evident now. So today they reported for April 28th, they reported more than 3,200 deaths. So 3,200 deaths. So fatalities are increasing, guys. That's what I predicted last, that I see overall 0.5 million fatalities, so 500k fatalities from India, when India was just having 135k fatalities. I predicted that. Even in my last post on video update, I predicted that. So I've been telling India a long time back, but what happens here, the stooges, the India stooges, they're always eyeing on me. They're having complete surveillance, 360 degree. People around neighborhood, they are obviously watching my every move, what I say, what I do. Somehow this seems like I'm the most critical person in the whole world for them, because I got all the ideas, I got the news, I get to tell them what goes on. But somehow they latch on, they try to extrapolate those numbers, and they try to sell it as their own branded thing. That's what goes around here, man. So the problem with India, folks, is that they still have a lot to reveal to the world. Why mutant B.1.617 was not given early indication to the whole world. Now they also have another mutation, which is B.1.618, which is again thought to be highly contagious. So I just recently heard the news, which is just like 2 hours back, which I'm updating to you. There is a neighboring country known as Nepal, which is just having north of India. It's a small country with not a big population, more than 12 or 13 million population. They also are facing big problem from the India variants or mutants, because it's a porous border between Nepal and India. People do cross the lines, and they don't require much of the documentation, so they have a good porous border where people do migrate. And now you see Nepal is suffering. They are reporting more than 307k cases, which is extreme for a small population of Nepal, and they have been blaming all on India mutants, which are basically crumbling their system. So guys, this is a global impact. India, why people are worried. Even UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has sent good amount of supplies to India on a compassionate basis. They're trying to help. China is trying to help. Yesterday on Tuesday, China had an open invitation for a conference, global conference, specifically the ASEAN countries. they invited openly India also, but India government was too lousy, or they always try to ignore China because China outperforms India every time. So India always, the stooges of India always try to tell people or the world that they are always exceptionally well, they're supreme people, they know everything in advance, and you know, their neighboring brothers, China, Pakistan, be it Nepal, they have no knowledge of anything. That's what they portray. But now you have seen everybody world is surprised and shocked that how India has collapsed, and it's a disaster in making in India. So guys, the number today is telling and revealing whole world how India science and how India people have failed on pandemic, and miserably failed is by the government stooges, you know, who just try to snub the information. They have recently been known to ask tutor to delete the tweets where India population were trying to portray the reality, the truth, and they have asked many people. Journalists have been like Rana Ayub recently. I heard her news. Rana Ayub from Maharashtra, Bombay. She has clearly outspoken on Channel 4 that India is basically trying to snub them, trying to, you know, put a gag order on the information which they're trying to reveal is the truth. So she was very frustrated. Obviously, everybody else, like journalists, I'm a citizen journalist. More than that, I'm doing philanthropy for the world. So I do more than the journalists do, because journalists are paid mostly. You know, they demand something in return. I demand nothing because it's a philanthropy. I'm doing it for the benefit of humanity. If you see on all my videos, I never ask people to subscribe. I don't ask people to join me, or you know, I'm gonna do this or that, you know, because I'm hungry for nothing. I'm just doing it on a philanthropy level, and it's my gift to the world, to community, that somehow if I try to give them, alert them what's about to come, they will be better prepared. See, if you see for last 4 or 5 years, I have been predicting mostly and very acutely on the mass social media some of my predictions a year before. Every time 1 year before I predict, and it happens. So it was starting from hashtag May 2018 WAR war. Then next one which came was MAY, hashtag MAY 2019 chaos, CHAOS. You can Google search them. Then you can also Google search next prediction which I made a year before was hashtag MAY 2020 WW3. Yes, World War 3. Because a year before, what I could foresee from remote visions and everything else, that there's a big calamity coming. It's like an apocalyptic situation. I saw like a big people running around, and they were like in chaotic mode. After chaos, it was like people trying to hide somewhere. This is what happened once we came to know about this pandemic in January 2020. So by 2020 May, you saw, you know, the whole world was in a lockdown mode. Everybody was hiding somewhere. This is what happens in World War. So I had predicted it already. So this was a fruition, or you can say this was how I predicted a year before came into known to the whole world. So also a year before, almost a year before, I predicted next prediction, which was hashtag May 2021 NPW, New Pathogens War. So this, I'm going to elaborate a little bit today. What is NPW, New Pathogens War? So the New Pathogens War is all about how pathogens are going to prop up now. Because India is having such a dense population. Imagine if there are 2 or 3 more mutants which India has. Already I tell you, India has more than 712 variants. Officially they have recognized 617 variants in India for COVID-19 alone. Yes, guys, I repeated 617, everybody. It's for everybody, you know. I somehow say some few words like guys because I'm too much used to it, but it doesn't mean I'm not addressing everybody. I'm addressing everybody, so please forgive me if I sometimes say that word again and again, because I'm too much used to saying that. I have worked in big companies, blue chip companies, and mostly I've worked with 90% of the staff is always males, and sometimes like 10% of my staff has been like female folks. But I have no disrespect for anyone, or don't think I'm just trying to be very exclusive to someone. No, it's for everybody. So I would try to correct myself on that. It's for everybody, everybody, people. And what going on now is basically what you're going to see coming up. See, earlier from 2010 onwards, I was also writing a lot of articles on beforeitsnews.com. Yes, you can Google search it, you will get it. Before it's news.com space SGS Rana. Yes, again the same sign I was using, SGS Rana, and I've been predicting a lot of things there. But social media I wasn't into too much because I was too much busy myself. But now I've come down to the situation where I see I have to update the world. Things are not going in the right direction, so which you have already seen. India is suffering a big time. It's a disaster. People are suffering for beds. People are suffering for oxygen. Even people are suffering to get even proper cremation. They are not even cremation spaces, and it's right. People are frustrated because government is not revealing the real data. They are hiding the numbers. That's what India's stooges are. Obfuscation. They are good at hiding things. They are good at redirecting information or redirecting people to somebody else. See, many times people have reported me when they call my number. I've given number to contact people on philanthropy level, which is +91 is code of India, then 896-810-7947. But I have come to know from feedback that people say when we call your number mostly seems to be engaged or busy, or your number seems to be just going blank, like it's just going through. I say this is what India stooges do. I don't get any calls, guys or folks. I don't get it. My phone doesn't buzz from people who give me feedback somewhere else on my social media, because that's what India stooges are good at. They basically intercept my calls on my numbers. If it's a naive, they will let it through. If it's not a naive, somebody very important, they're going to redirect to someone else who will become an imposter like me and say, no, something, this and that, come here or come there, to make a fool of that person, or try to totally make this number busy, or let it go through just like that. This is what's going on, man. So if this is what's going on, imagine, folks, what's going to happen to people who are journalists, who are doing good job of telling truth, who are in the field. See, I'm not in a field. I don't work as a journalist. I'm not in a field. I report what I see, what I foresee. I report and I tell the world. But people who are journalists, who are going in field daily, they're getting money out of that part. They are reporting and they are also getting the same feedback. Even people who are human rights activists, I do the human rights activist part also. I also get the same feedback from people that, their number gets blocked, or Indian stooges over here, they try to manipulate the number. So this is, guys, one of the biggest problem in India. They block the communication. Recently, Tutor and India government is having a big tussle because they're saying, what's the jurisdiction of you asking people to take the tweet, which is not basically violating any of their norms. So Tutor have their own policy of guidelines, which they try to first filter through. If that is not violated, they go through the local jurisdiction. But sometimes they see that if it's something as true as possible, and it's something which will help humanity, why India government is after that truth? That's what is concerning even Tutor now. But I tell you, my account from Tutor, which is @SJS Rana, was suspended. Yes, it was suspended in 2019 when I was writing this article, #May 2019 chaos. I've already predicted it, and after that, somehow, I don't know whether Indian stooges or Indian government intercepted, or they interjected, or they tried to intervene and asked Tutor to behave like a mafia and try to suspend my account. And my account obviously got suspended. That's what people are now telling to the whole world, that their tweets are being deleted deliberately by India government, India stooges. They are also trying to ask to suspend the accounts. India was having a big, massive farmers protest, which happened in Delhi. People in the outskirts of Delhi were barged there, were camping for almost 3 months, 2 months, and massive millions and millions of people were there. Farmers were there from all over the India, Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, Rajasthan. Everybody was participating. And what happened there? 500 accounts of the farmers, major people who were trying to tell the truth, were also suspended. Their tweets were deleted massively. So this is what India government and India stooges are good at: obfuscate. I tell you the word, they obfuscate the information. They hide the information. They don't try to tell you the truth. They block the communication. They intercept the communication. This is what India stooges are good at. Nothing else than that. If they were good at other things, then India would have never seen this collapse of their healthcare system. They would have never seen second wave disaster of COVID-19 if they were so good and smart people. Think about it for a minute. If India stooges were so good people, or so advanced, what they claim as advanced human race, then they would have landed in the first attempt on moon. They failed in first attempt landing on moon. It's a laughable situation. Then again you got to laugh. On second attempt also, they failed the whole world. And they say, no, our satellite is revolving around the moon. What a joke you're saying. You're supposed to land a rover on a moon. This is what India is good at. India's stooges are good for nothing, but they are only good for befooling the whole world. That's what upsets me, and that's why they have a hate crime against me. That's why they try to block me, they try to isolate me. They have tried to isolate me from every perspective, from family, from my friends, from acquaintances, from anybody who try to meet. They try to follow them, and they try to grab them and try to harass them, that if you try to follow this guy or have a communication open link, then this is what the result is. It is their malefic karma. So guys, don't be so much worried about India. India's malefic karma is unfolding now. So what I see is, once they try to improve their intentions, their thoughts, their purity, then I think COVID-19 is not a big thing. Just like US has was overwhelmed, but US has been now getting good news that it's over with pandemic. Even UK has been doing good. So also a lot of other things which are malefic in India, they are contributing maximum sexual assaults to female. So they are good at producing that number of people who are sexual predators. India is only producing that maximum. That's why they have maximum number of assaults. So what else they are good for? These are what India's stooges are made of. Think about it, guys. You have to tell the truth to the world so that people try to understand why India is facing a disaster. Why India is not able to succeed in global level. Look at the Olympics records. India is never in top 7 or 10. Having 1.4 billion population, they cannot even produce gold medals on Olympics. What are they doing? Just having sex all the time? Man, this is something you got to understand. That's why females are fed up in India. There are 666 plus million females. They are fed up because every time they're reporting, every 15 minutes a female is assaulted sexually by India hyperactive sexual alpha males. They're all around, scattered all around. That's what they do the whole day. They start the day with that, and then they end the day with that. They have nothing else to do the whole time. And that is what they do, anything they do for. So this is why India is unfolding the malefic karma, and I predicted that India will be having more than what I see 0.7 or 0.8 million daily infections. And if you combine them with many of the STDs, which India population has, then the COVID-19 plus STD may well soon produce a super contagion. Yes, it may produce a super contagion, and we must be all fearful of India. Until it is able to cope up or come up out of the pandemic, we must be fearful. That's why Canada has banned India, Australia has banned India, Saudi Arabia has banned India, Singapore has banned India, Iran has banned India, UK has banned India. More are joining. They are banning India because they are fearful of this people, the stooges especially, who give the false information, false narrative, and they try to always portray as if they are supreme people. They know everything in advance. No Pandit was able to tell the world that India is going to face such a problem. Why? They say they have all the good Pandits, they have all the advanced knowledge of people. No, they only are good at sexually predating females. That's what they are good at, nothing more than that. So everybody, I leave you there with a good remark that, try to stay healthy, try to stay upbeat in spirits, because that's what we need more in this pandemic time. And I hope India stooges are listening, and they try to get to the part of truth, and they try to portray truth. They never try to conceal. I leave you with the saying, which is a very famous saying. I think it came from Buddha, Lord Buddha. Gautam Buddha was also founded in India, a religion called Jainism. But you see, he being a part of India, that religion, which is followed everywhere in Japan, even in Korea, even people in China also follow Buddhism, Lord Buddha. But in India, it was just reduced to like minuscule 2% or 1% of population, because that's what they do. When they find somebody telling the truth, they try to hijack. They try to put them under pressure, and they try to like a boa constrictor. You get my saying? It's like a boa constrictor, anything that comes in their periphery, it's going to be constricted. And that's what the python does. So I leave you with something which Lord Buddha said, and which has always inspired me, is 3 things cannot be hidden for long. 3 things cannot be hidden for long: sun, moon, and the truth. That's the message for Indian stooges, if they're listening to me. 3 things cannot truth. So Indian Stooges, this is for you. If you can understand this, it's for your benefit. It's not for me because I'm following that path already. Okay, everybody, I take a leave, and you can check on my website, onewordpress.wordpress.com. You can also log into my Facebook account, which is fb.com/trust1must. You can always comment on my YouTube channel, which is under the search SJSRANA. I repeat, you can YouTube search SJSRANA. Free to comment, free to connect me if you need some help, and you can always try to call me if you want to. I'm also on Zoom account, I'm also on WhatsApp, same number, +91 896 8107947. I hope this time they don't have the interception to my calls or to my incoming calls. So I leave you with the note that Lord Buddha said, 3 things cannot be hidden for long: sun, moon, and the truth. So hopefully everybody stay healthy and try to have a upbeat mind, body, and spirits. Okay, bye.